Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today will be our final episode with the Mega Alakazam team that we featured for the last week and a half or so. If you guys enjoyed this team, please give the original creator Hibiki VGC a follow on Twitter. He's an Austrian player who will be at Worlds later this summer, and he's a fantastic guy. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this team. It was really fun to use, but we'll be changing to something else tomorrow. Anyway, we're gonna jump onto the ladder, currently just under the 1700s. We were able to pass the 1700s the other day, but then we dropped with the loss in the last one. So we'll see if we can pick up 2 wins and close out the Mega Alakazam team with the rating of over 1700, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, as always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please show support by leaving a like on this episode. I'd really appreciate it. We're gonna find a 16-14 rated player from Japan to kick off the first game. Opponent here is rocking a pretty standard team of Amoonguss, Kangaskhan, Landorus, Thundurus, Heatran, and Hydreigon. So nothing too out of the ordinary here. It's kind of cool to see Hydreigon, since Hydreigon's a Pokemon that definitely hasn't seen that much usage this year, relative, but Hydreigon's also a Pokemon that always makes a huge appearance at the World Championships. Last year, Choice Specs Hydreigon was one of the biggest Pokemon to beat. Otherwise, Kangaskhan, Amoonguss, Landorus, Thundurus, Heatran, all very standard Pokemon. So, Alakazam here can be really good because Psychic knocks out Amoonguss, HP Ice knocks out Landorus, and does a lot of damage to Hydreigon. Psychic for the Thundurus as well. But of course, I'm going to have to protect it because of Heatran resisting Psychics and HP Ices, Hydreigon just killing me with Dark Pulse, and then Kangaskhan with the Sucker Punch. Thundurus is also really annoying to deal with, as you guys have seen, because of its ability to just Thunder Wave everything, so I'm going to try to, avoid that and beat it as quickly as possible. So, see what I want to lead with here. I actually really like Alakazam Landorus as a lead here, I think, because I get the Intimidate off, and Alakazam just puts on a lot of pressure immediately. Now, in the back, I think Virizian's worth bringing here because it knocks out Hydreigon, Heatran, and Kangaskhan, and avoids Amoonguss' Rage Powder. So I do like that. For the last one, let's see. Bishop's not the worst call. Volcarona, honestly, not that great in this match because, yeah, he has multiple. I mean, it's still a kind of nice way to shut down Kangaskhan, especially with Rocky Helmet and Flame Body. But I can see myself bringing all 3 of these Pokemon, so I really got to consider. With the Alakazam Virizian lead, what is that incredibly weak to? I guess Rotom Wash might be decent here to just switch into Thunder Waves, especially if he's got like something like Thundurus and Landorus as his lead. So I'm inclined to do that. I don't know. I still really like Volcarona here to shut down the Kangaskhan though, but I think Rotom offers me a bit more offense. Whereas Volcarona here can't do too much other than Bug Buzz the Hydreigon and maybe Fiery Dance Amoonguss, but Rotom here at least really shuts down Landorus and Heatran. Both of those Pokemon really don't like facing against Rotom, so we'll see how this goes. Should be a fun match. And we'll see how much Mega Alakazam can do. I think it can be really good in this match if protected correctly. So we're going to see the Thundurus Heatran lead from my opponent against my Landorus Alakazam, which is pretty solid from the start. However, the main issue here is, of course, he can just Thunder Wave. I'm going to get the Intimidate off here, which is kind of nice, but actually doesn't really help me at all against these 2 special type attackers. Let's see, I do have Rotom in the back, which really is helpful against these 2 Pokemon, I think. So I might just switch out into Rotom here. And the question is, do I Rock Slide? Or does he hit in Power Ice, or does he Thunder Wave Alakazam right now? I can also just Earthquake the Heatran. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really think my opponent would stay in with Heatran. But I guess if we consider what he potentially has in the back, I know I get a free Rock. I guess I could Rock Slide Psychic here. But I think switching out into Rotom might just be a safer play. Switch out into Rotom and still go for the Rock Slide? Yeah. Okay. So Alakazam's going to switch out first. A good play my opponent can make here is just going for a Hidden Power Ice Heat Wave. But he's going to withdraw the Heatran. Maybe into Landorus? Let's see. Gonna be the Landorus. Yep. So good play by my opponent there, gets the Intimidate off, but I get free damage, and, Rotom definitely ended up being the right call here since it beats Thundurus, Landorus, and the Heatran pretty well. Pretty speedy Thundurus there, outspeeding my Landorus, but I am going to be able to get this Rock Slide off, so I'm kind of surprised to see Thundurus just go straight for the Thunderbolt there as opposed to a Hidden Power Ice or a Thunder Wave, but nice move by my opponent there. So let's see. I don't have great switch-ins for this Landorus because I don't want Alakazam to take damage, really. Which kind of stinks. But he has a Heatran in the back. I presume he's going to maybe Rock Slide Thunderbolt or Rock Slide Hidden Power Ice. So I could go, based off who he has in the back, I could just go straight for the Hydro Pump here onto Landorus and another Rock Slide. That's what I'm going to do. And we'll see how this plays out. But Landorus here doesn't really do too much. It can Rock Slide, it can maybe Superpower or Knock Off. But he's going to withdraw the Thundurus, which I'm okay with since this Landorus isn't going to be doing too much. It looks like Hydreigon's going to be coming in. So that's my fourth opponent's Pokemon. And now I'm pretty glad that I ended up not bringing the Volcarona. However, Landorus here reveals the Protect, not a move I was anticipating there, but a good one at that. So this Rock Slide against the Hydreigon really not going to do very much damage, but any damage is good damage. That does put my opponent in a considerably better position because now Hydreigon threatens my Rotom with a Dark Pulse. But it's also good to note that his Landorus is not Choice Scarfed. So Virizion is also really good in this match. So I definitely like, in terms of Pokemon choice, how it's going right now. With the Assault Vest, I can also survive a Draco Meteor / Dark Pulse. I just wonder what he'll do. I could switch into Virizion and potentially bait out a Dark Pulse from the Hydreigon, which would be kind of cool. But he might also just go for a Draco Meteor. No, I really want to switch out into Virizion here. I guess if he goes for the Draco, is that the worst case? I mean, Rotom still beats Heatran, Landorus does as well. Alright, I'll switch into Virizion here and go for a Superpower onto the Hydreigon. So Rotom's going to switch out here. Beating the Dark Pulse here would be fantastic. A Justified boost would makes this Virizion so strong in this game. So Virizion comes out. Oh, he launches the Draco Meteor here though. Targeting the Virizion slot. Okay. I might be able to survive that. Depending on what item he's carrying and how fast he is. Yeah, wow, Virizion actually, I totally forgot about how good it is special defense-wise. And the Landorus goes for the Hidden Power Ice. Wow, that is cool. I'm going to be able to survive that, but Hidden Power Ice Landorus T with Life Orb. That is something that Angel Miranda used and a Japanese player used at Japanese Nationals, so kind of cool to see that come out. A Superpower here almost picks up the knockout actually onto the Hydreigon, which is sweet. But that HP Ice does set me back a little bit. So let's see. Based off how much that Draco did, I should be able to survive another one actually, which is pretty nice. However, I did take quite a beating there with Virizion. I also wonder what item he has. I would guess Scarf. So with that, I think I still want to conserve the Landorus, but the important thing is Virizion, Landorus, and Rotom all kind of beat the Heatran, which is good. I guess here I'm going to go for the Protect play. And maybe switch out. Yeah, I like switching out here. Especially because if that's a special Landorus, which it revealed itself to be, he has no way to really touch my Rotom. So he's going to make the smart play and withdraw Hydreigon out into the Thundurus, which is, fine by me here. I really want to knock out the Thundurus now because once that's gone, he can't Thunder Wave or Hidden Power Ice me. And then the Alakazam here can actually really help me seal up the game. So Virizion's going to go for a Protect, but I assume Landorus is going to go for the Hidden Power Ice onto my Landorus slot. Or maybe my Virizion slot. Nope, he targets on Virizion instead, which is great. So here I could just go for the Stone Edge onto the Thundurus and just go straight for the Hydro Pump and try to see if I can pick up 2 knockouts this turn. And I think I'm going to go exactly for that. Ooh. I wasn't anticipating that one. Psych Kick comes out from Thundurus, so this is clearly offensive Thundurus. I'm wondering if he even carries, as he goes for a Superpower as well. Wow. So this Landorus is mixed. And Rotom hangs on with 3 HP. That's clutch. But this is a really scary match now. I should have considered that Thundurus had a way to knock out Virizion and maybe conserve my Virizion a bit better, and Rotom also took a bit more damage than I was really hoping for. However, the important thing here is Hydro Pump does manage to connect with the not the Hydreigon, the Landorus, so that's going to be knocked out in 1 hit. This is a really scary finish to the game, though. I guess here I want to bring in the Alakazam. Yeah. And we'll see who he brings in. I would guess Hydreigon. Yep, gonna be that Hydreigon. If this is Scarf Hydreigon, he can just Dark Pulse me and Thunderbolt Rotom. That's kind of a problem. Mega Evolve Protect here for sure. And do I want to switch Rotom out? Is he gonna go for the Thunderbolt onto the Rotom slot? I could double Protect here. Let's see. I kind of need the Landorus for the late game against Heatran though, so yeah. Wow, that Psychic totally caught me off guard. If I could have knocked out 2 knockouts there, I think I would have had the game won, but now with this Hydreigon staring me down, I guess I will double Protect here. Yeah. We'll see what he goes for. I would guess a Dark Pulse and a Thunderbolt. So Thunder's Reveal, Thunderbolt, and Psychic. Maybe a Hidden Power Ice, maybe Protect, maybe Grass Knot. But I'm guessing he doesn't carry Thunder Wave then, because you'd assume he would have gone for a Thunder Wave onto Alakazam that first turn. So I trace the Prankster, which can be helpful. But I am just going to double Protect here to scout out for what he does, see what item that Hydreigon has, whether it's actually Choice Scarfed, as we both go for the Protect. Oh, Thunderbolt comes out, so he's not Scarfed, I guess. Which is good news. That is very good news. So I'm going to go straight for the Hidden Power Ice here and go for a Thunderbolt onto Thundurus, yeah. Wow, this is going to be a really tight finish, but might be able to seal it up here. He does go for the Protect here with Thundurus, which is perfect. HP Ice here should just knock out Hydreigon. It does, perfect. Okay, cool. So, the game is now in my favor in terms of 3-2, but Rotom Wash and Landorus are both pretty heavily damaged. I'm really wondering what the last attack on this Thundurus is now. Another interesting thing here is I could actually trace, or I could skill swap the Heatran and get the Flash Fire with my Alakazam, so he can't hit me with Heat Wave, which might be worth doing. Let's see, I've got Landorus in the back. I wonder if Psychic can just knock out a Thundurus here. If it can, then I can just win the game. I guess I'll just Psychic. I'll double up into it with the Landorus in the back here. Oh wow, my opponent just forfeits. I mean, I guess he knew that his Thundurus was really offensive and couldn't take his Psychic with my Landorus in the back, but that was definitely not a game my opponent should have forfeited, because he easily could have still won that if, for example, if he'd just gone for Double Protect and a Heat Wave, he could have won. If he survived the Psychic and got the Thunderbolt off against my Rotom and then got a Heat Wave off, he could have won. It also depends on how fast his Heatran is relative to my Landorus, and I think I had that game won, but at the same time, that was like not a game where it was 100% in my favor, and you know, those are the games you really forfeit, so kind of surprised to see that, but we'll take that as we pick up a win, and we look for our second opponent of the day, just under 1700 now, so I'd really like to win this next one and finish up the week on a strong note. But that was a really intense game. Pretty cool to see that offensive Thundurus. It was also interesting to not see it with Life Orb, but you know, the Life Orb was on Thundurus, or Landorus, but we're gonna find Ruby from Florida with the rating of 1761 for our next opponent. Ruby here is rocking a really strong team of Charizard, Kangaskhan, Cresselia, Heatran, Landorus, and Amoonguss. So once again, we see a lot of familiar Pokemon from the last one, including Kang, Amoonguss, Heatran, and Landorus. So you guys see how prominent those Pokemon are in VGC 15. But this one a bit more sun-oriented with the Charizard to pair up with the Heatran, the Cresselia here potentially to set up the Trick Room as well. So you know, my opponent does have the dual Mega possibility, which is always incredibly strong and scary to go up against. And I really don't like playing Cresselia with this team, since this team is relatively offensive based, but you know, you rely on Volcarona and Bisharp to beat it, and then both of those Pokemon kind of suffer against the fire types here, so definitely a difficult matchup. Leading with Alakazam is always slightly tempting though. I'm considering that. Virizion here is still good because Close Combat can knock out Kang, Heatran, and Stone Edge can knock out the Charizard, so that works. I have a strong feeling my opponent's going to want to lead with Cresselia though. And if that's the case, Alakazam really can't do diddly squat against it. So my best answer against Cresselia is either Volcarona or Bisharp. I also wonder which Mega Evolution my opponent's going to bring here. I think Charizard makes more sense against my kind of team here. But both of them are kind of checked off by Virizion, but I don't know. Charizard here can at least, like, a fire type stab Heat Waves against Alakazam, Volcarona, and Bisharp are incredibly threatening. But part of me wants to lead with the Bisharp here to try to catch my opponent's Cresselia. And Landorus, so if he leads with either of those two, I can punish that. So I think I'm going to go with the Bisharp. Part of me still wants to go with Alakazam. But then again, what can Alakazam really do? He gets a Psychic off. Then again, I can also pair it up with a Psychic and Sucker Punch combination. So I'll go with that. And let's see, Virizion in the back. Landorus is my last one. Yeah. While I normally like Rotom Wash in this matchup, I don't know, the Sun significantly reduces my damage output. And then he has a bunch of ways to just really annoy Rotom Wash, especially if he decides to bring the Amoonguss. So I'm going to keep it on the bench here, but we'll see how that actually plays out. Going to leave with Alakazam and Bisharp here. See if my opponent led with Landorus or Cresselia. Nope, Charizard and Heatran coming out instead, which is definitely not a fun lead matchup. However, the nice thing is Alakazam here can at least maybe pull some shenanigans with Skill Swap and steal Heatran's Flash Fire away. I could also just trace it immediately, which would be helpful, but definitely not the lead matchup I was looking for here. But it's smart by my opponent to assess that I would try to counter the Cresselia or the Landorus, and, you know, choosing not to bring either of them. So I'm gonna double protect this first turn, Mega Evolve, and see what ability I can get with the Alakazam. Because if I can somehow manage to trace the Flash Fire, a fun thing I can do the next turn is double up on Charizard with a Sucker Punch Psychic. Though if my opponent's smart, he'll protect with Charizard, so we'll see. Or the following turn, that is. And without Scarf Landorus, the Charizard Heatran matchup is considerably more difficult because Charizard outspeeds you, and even though I have the Assault Vest, I still take way too much damage for my comfort. So this is just a really scary duo to go up against, and not really too much I could have led with to really make it a better position. And I do trace the Flash Fire, which is great here, so that's actually incredibly helpful. So right now, he doesn't have a great way to touch the Alakazam other than perhaps going for a Earth Power onto it or a Solar Beam. So that definitely helps me out, but the Bisharp here obviously staring against 2 fire types, not in the greatest of positions. So Alakazam gonna go for the Protect here, as he, I assume, is just gonna attack with both of his Pokemon. Let's see. Yep, Charizard just launches a Heat Wave. Oh, Heatran might go for a sub here. Nope, he just goes for the Heat Wave. Cool. So I wonder if he's gonna read the Sucker Punch Psychic play, because that's definitely what I want to do. I'm gonna go for it here. Because the thing is, even if he protects, he brings my Bisharp down to my Focus Sash. And, you know, that's fine, because then the following turn I brought in the Charizard with the exact same attack. And I obviously really can't switch out Bisharp, which kind of sucks. But this team doesn't have too many fire resists, and Rotom Wash, you know, could have been helpful, but when you get a Heat Wave off, then it's in Solar Beam KO range from Charizard, which is why I didn't really want to bring it, especially without a way to really control the weather on my own end. So yeah, that's really not too great for me right now. But if anything, even if he knocks out Bisharp, I can potentially get my Landorus in for free, or Virizion, and both of those threaten him a fair amount. And the Flash Fire tracing here with Alakazam is so huge. It means that he can't just spam Heat Waves to knock out Alakazam, because 2 Heat Waves definitely knock it out. So I'm really happy about that. Otherwise, I would have skill swapped Heatran this next turn to just get that away. But Alakazam here really important, especially if he has Landorus in the back, which I assume he does. And he looks like he's just going to attack with Charizard, so I think I'll be able to pick up the knockout here with a double target. Sucker Punch does so much damage there. Psychic comes out, that's going to be able to target down Charizard, and Charizard goes down in 1 turn, so that's great. Heatran here, I would guess, is going to go for another Heat Wave, but he goes for the Flash Cannon instead, targeting the Bisharp. Maybe predicting a switch there, as it's Life Orb as well. That's good to confirm. So with that, I'm guessing he does not have Substitute, and Substitute would have made this game a lot more difficult, so that is really good for me. We'll see what my opponent decides to bring in now, but if anything, I can also get the opportunity to switch out the Bisharp. He brings in Landorus. I don't know if he knows, but I do carry Hidden Power Ice, and we've caught so many Landoruses and Salamences off guard with the HP Ice. So this is a huge opportunity for me right now. I can go straight for the Sucker Punch onto the Heatran and the Hidden Power Ice onto Landorus, and I'm guessing it's Choice Scarfed. So this is really big for me, but even if not, that's exactly the Pokemon I wanted to see my opponent bring in. It actually puts me in a fantastic position. Of course, unless it's Jolly Landorus with Choice Scarf, and if that's the case, then I am in a lot of trouble, because he can just outspeed me and maybe get an Earthquake off, or even a U-turn, which would knock me out. But regardless, the thing here is, if I do get the Sucker Punch off, Heatran takes so much damage, and with the Life Orb, you know, it's slowly ticking down for him. If Landorus is Scarf here, he's going to have to lock himself into attack, even if he outspeeds me. So, you know, something like a Earthquake would mean that his Heatran would have to switch out the following turn. U-turn means he automatically switches out, but then Bisharp still hangs around for a turn, unless he decides to U-turn Heat Wave here. Regardless, though, this is a really good position for me, especially if Alakazam outspeeds it. However, my opponent makes a really good play with drawing the Landorus, so just giving me the Defiant boost. It's going to bring in Cresselia, which is kind of scary to see against, so perhaps I could have doubled up on the Heatran slot, because I don't think the Sucker Punch is going to knock him out here, as Hidden Power Ice, unfortunately, blows into the Cresselia slot. Still does a decent amount of damage, though. That was a crit. And he goes for the Earth Power onto Bisharp here. That's going to pick up the knockout. Yep. So unfortunately, I did just lose my best answer to the Cresselia, and that was a well-managed turn by my opponent. He wasn't going to let me win the game that easily. And now dealing with this Cresselia is a huge pain. Oh my gosh. Who do I want to bring in? Neither of these Pokemon are great against Cresselia. Maybe I should have brought in Volcarona just to beat the Cresselia, or Rotom Wash to burn it. That's kind of an issue right now. Let's see. Virizion or Landorus? I guess Landorus can knock off. Yeah, I'll go for the Landorus, I think. So, this game just got a lot scary. I think I could have played that last turn safer by protecting with my Bisharp. Then again, I guess that doesn't put me in that much of a better position. Then I could have doubled up on the Heatran slot, though. Yeah, so that would have been probably the better play. So I go for the knockoff here onto Cresselia, and I'll just launch the Psychic here into Heatran. If this Cresselia has Icy Wind or Trick Room, and I guess it would have one of the two. I'm sure it has some way of speed control. This game will get a lot more difficult because then Alakazam's going to have to switch out. I'm really hoping that the Landers on my opponent's end, however, is Choice Scarf, because if that's the case, Alakazam can just hit Empower Ice it to knock it out, and even if Cresselia has speed control, once I switch it out and back in, then I can knock it out. However, Cresselia under Sun is always a major threat, especially if it carries Moonlight, which I assume this one does. So this is going to be a really annoying finish to the game. But if anything, I know that Cresselia can't do too much damage to Alakazam, and I can still get a couple of hits off. So he's going to make the smart play here. He's just going to protect with Heatran. That, makes perfect sense. As I'm going to go for the Psychic, that's going to blow into it. Landers here, however, is going to be able to get the knockoff off, which is more important. Does a very good amount of damage there, actually. Gets rid of the Citrus Berry, as he does have the Icy Wind here. So, yep, does confirm that, and that's not too great for me right now. As both of my Pokemon taking some damage. The Landers with the Assault Vest, manages to wall it decently, but still. So, let's see. That Heatran is about to faint, but I kind of need this Alakazam. I can't switch out though, that's the thing. But I wonder if he's going to Earth Power / Flash Cannon that slot. I also wonder if I'm still faster even after the Icy Wind, because Mega Alakazam is so freaking fast. I guess I'll Psychic the Heatran slot. And do I just go for a knockoff onto Crest, or do I go for the Rock Slide? No, knockoff's probably better. Just get more damage off right now. If he doesn't have Moonlight, then I can win this one, but I suspect he would. So let's see. Right now we're seeing if Alakazam can still outspeed Heatran. Don't know how fast it is. Though I guess maybe, I don't know. It's not like I could have really switched out here. Well, I guess another play I could have made was protecting Alakazam, but oh wow, he went for the double there with Heatran. Surprising play, but I guess he assumed that I would be faster. Then again, I mean that could say something about how fast this Heatran is. So he's probably gonna go for another. Oh nope, he does have Moonlight. Okay, so we do confirm that. That does make this match a lot more difficult to win, as he heals all the way back to full HP. I get the knockoff here, but that's still good damage. That was a crit, yeah. Sunlight fades though, which is important. And he's gonna bring in Landers right now. So let's see. If that's Choice Scarf, I can obviously pick that Landers out. So I'm probably gonna want to withdraw Alakazam here. But then the poor Virizian's gonna take a Icy Wind. Actually, the question is, what do you do here if you're Landers? Do you go for the U-turn? I could also knock off to remove its item. And then go for the Hidden Power Ice. But I kind of need this Landorus' knockoff because that's my best offense against Cresselia. So let's think here. I mean, Icy Wind only did 40 damage, so it's not that bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the knockoff onto Landorus here and protect with Alakazam. Because I'm guessing it's Scarf, and if I remove the Scarf, then I'll be able to hit him Power Ice it without him outspeeding me, even at -1 speed. Looks like he's just going to lock himself into Rock Slide. I would guess that means he's Choice Scarf then. Let's see how much damage Landorus takes. Not too bad. He's going to go for an Icy Wind here, so as long as I don't get flinched, and I actually avoid the Icy Wind too, which is really helpful. So knockoff comes out, and it does get rid of the Landorus' Choice Scarf, which I assumed he had. So that's fantastic. I'm going to withdraw my Landers now out into Virizion and go for a Hidden Power Ice to knock out the... Actually, do I want to withdraw into Virizion, or do I want to stay in? Yeah, I mean, the -2 right now is kind of a big deal, I think. So I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ice here. And in a normal VGC setting, I would be able to win this one, I think, just off timer, since Cresselia can't knock me out quickly enough. But... let's see, yep, Alakazam does outspeed the Landorus even after the Icy Wind, so Hidden Power Ice comes out, and that's going to be able to pick up the knockout. So it is 3-1 in my favor now, and Cresselia does not have his Citrus Berry, and he's going to probably Icy Wind here, yep. So, right now the Icy Wind spam is real. I just don't have a great way to effectively deal with it, but you know what, that's alright. I'm thinking ability-wise, is there anything that can really help me out here? Unfortunately not. It's not like Intimidate and Justified's really doing too much. So I think it's time to just start going on the offense. Go for the Leaf Blade, go for the Psychic. He already lost his Citrus Berry, so if he doesn't Moonlight here, if he knocks me out, the Landorus just comes in and can get a knockoff off. So it's like, my opponent has too much to do with too little time right now. And I'm still faster even after the Icy wins. I mean, that's a testament to how fast this team is. So that does do around 50% of damage there. And he's going to go for the Psychic here on Therizian. That's actually going to be game. Cresselia can't do enough to win this game right now because without recovering, you saw that both of my Pokemon outspeed him. So another Leaf Blade and Psychic combination will be able to seal up the deal here. So for how scary that lead was, we managed to play it around, and that was a really fantastic game, and I couldn't have asked for a better episode to close out with the Mega Alakazam team. Alakazam definitely put in so much work this game, being able to scare off my opponent immediately against Charizard and Heatran by tracing the Flash Fire here. And of course the skill swap combination was always there, but having Bisharp as the lead actually turned out not being too bad because I was able to get that Defiant boost and deal so much damage to the Heatran. So Leaf Blade here actually just picks up the KO onto Cresselia, and that's going to be game. So never thought I'd see the day where Alakazam, Virizion, and Landorus are able to knock out Cresselia, but we managed to pull it off here, and a really great game against my opponent there, especially against a team that I thought was just very scary to go up against, since this team does not fare well against fire-type Pokemon in general, especially Charizard and Heatran, but that's how important the trace is from Mega Alakazam. And yeah, so fantastic episode for you guys today. That last one was a nail biter, but that first one was also really fun. It's surprising because that first one my opponent just forfeited, but I'll take it, and that does finally put us over 1700 to close out the week. So great way to close out the week. Thank you to Hibiki VGC for allowing me to use this team. It's been a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this team. I got to use the Mega Evolution that really doesn't see any use in VGC, and I actually put in a lot of work in the majority of episodes, so that was a lot of fun. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, guys, and this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like always if you did, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, peace.